Hi guys, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to be showing you a recipe for Basbousa. Now, I'm not totally sure that I pronounced that properly, so I apologize to anyone in the audience who knows how it's supposed to be pronounced if I slaughtered that. But basically what it is a Middle Eastern cake, and it's very, very good, and it's just got a very interesting texture to it. So it's a semolina cake, and semolina is going to have a similar texture to like a cornmeal, so it's going to be kind of a little bit coarser, almost a little bit gritty, almost not in a weird way, but you'll see what I'm saying. It's a little bit coarser of a grind, and then it is covered in a sugar syrup soak, so it's really, really moist and tender, and just a really fun cake to try. So let's go ahead and get started.
So here's the first weird thing about this recipe. We're going to coat our baking pan with tahini. So you're going to use about 1/4 cup of tahini in a 9x13 baking dish, and just go ahead and spread that tahini all around the bottom and sides. Then once you've done that, just set that pan aside. Now we're going to start mixing together our wet ingredients. For our wet ingredients, we are using 1 cup of plain yogurt. It's okay if you get a little bit over the 1 cup, just like I did. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of sugar into that as well. And then 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Now mix all of that together and just set that aside. You will notice when we use that later, that's going to be a little bit frothy and bubbly. That's good. That's exactly what we want it to be. We're going to go ahead and combine our dry ingredients now, which is going to be 3 cups of semolina flour and then 1 cup of fine coconut flakes. So think like desiccated coconut, and you do not want it to be sweetened, so make sure it's unsweetened. Then just go ahead and give that a mix, and then we are going to add in 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, and we want this to be melted, so just go ahead and get that in there, and it should be kind of sandy, a little bit clumpy once you've got that butter mixed in. And then we're going to add in 3/4 cup of milk as well. After our milk's all been mixed in, we're going to go ahead and add that yogurt mixture and combine that. Now you will notice that this batter is pretty thick. It is not as thin as a normal cake batter. That's fine. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to go ahead and pull over our baking pan here and put our batter into it. And you should have your oven preheated to 375 degrees. And once our batter is in the pan, we actually want to go ahead and smooth this out and take just a butter knife and basically do a crisscross pattern to make little triangular, not triangular, little diamond squares there. And of course, some of this is going to kind of blur once it actually bakes, so this isn't going to be the exact final, but it'll give us an idea of where to put our almond decoration on top. So after you've got your diamond squares cut into the batter, we're going to just take some almonds, probably take you about 24 individual almonds, and we are going to just put that one on top of each square. And here is our finished product before it goes in the oven. It's going to bake for between 35 to 45 minutes. You don't want the inside to be too moist, but you also don't want it to be too overdone, so just keep an eye on it. And once it comes out, just go ahead and take a knife and cut along those same lines. You should still be able to see kind of the indent from them, and that is going to give us lots of nice little pockets for our sugar syrup to seep in and get that cake nice and moist. For our sugar syrup, we are just using 1 cup of sugar and 3/4 cup of water, and we're just going to let that cook over a medium-low heat until our sugar is completely dissolved in there. Once we've gotten to that point, we want to just turn the heat off and squeeze in the juice of half of a lemon. Now, if you wanted to add other flavorants in here, you could. You could do vanilla, you could do rose water in there would be nice, or orange blossom water. And just go ahead and pour that over top of your cake and let that soak in for about an hour, 2 hours before you eat it. Should be nice and moist and just a really, really lovely little cake. Enjoy, guys.